up guys, it's Jay-Z here. Welcome for another crazy build for Godfall. Today we'll be looking at one of the most powerful builds in the game. As you saw in the intro, the damage from this build is absolutely bonkers, able to hit damage numbers in the millions. So this is my version of a consume ailment build. Before we get into the full build, let's just go over what consuming ailments is. Just for those who may be new to the game, some items in the game such as the diamond charm and the heavenly reversal will be able to consume ailments. If an enemy is inflicted with an ailment, you can consume that ailment. Upon doing so, it will eat up all the ailment stacks and the remaining dot damage on the enemy and deal it in one final blow. The stronger your ailment, the stronger your consumption damage will be. This is how we are able to deal such huge damage. For today's build, we will be looking at the heavenly reversal. All your timing attacks will be able to consume ailments. This includes all the timing attack skills as well as the explosive wave from your shield throw and your spectral blow from your shield throws as well. With that, let's get straight into the build. For the weapons, we will be using the Blades of Regret. This is the only weapon that has a good ability for using consume. You'll be gaining Archon Fury charge whenever you consume 20,000 or more shock damage. Since it's on dual blades, that's even better. Consuming ailments works best on dual blades, and also this blade is able to inflict shock, so it's even better. Reason why dual blades are the best at consuming is because when you activate the weapon technique, all your attacks will be able to inflict ailments. Even your shield throws and the explosive wave from your shield throw as well. Explosive wave is used to consume ailments. So when your weapon tech is active on your dual blades, you can keep spamming the explosive wave because of its very large AoE attack. It will be able to inflict ailments and consume them at the same time for maximum damage. Also, the best thing about using these dual blades is if you consume ailments during your Archon Fury, it will actually extend the duration and keep refilling your Archon Fury bar, allowing you to keep your Archon Fury active for a great period of time. Reason why Silvermane works best for this build as he gets such fast weapon tech charge as well as shield charge, you can constantly consume ailments and have your Archon Fury replenished all the time. For the secondary weapon, it's best to have the longsword Lozari. Since the biggest downfall of this build is weapon tech charge speed, we will use Lozari to gain our weapon tech charge really quickly. The ability of this sword is you will gain Northern Technique charge whenever you hit an enemy with your sudden technique. Now you can stack this effect, hitting multiple enemies will give you more Northern Technique charge. It's an easy way to fill up your weapon tech charge really quickly. The longsword I used was the Sword of Dominance with the abilities from Rosari and the Seeds. For the amulet, we are using the Grandmaster's Station to apply the Mark of Weakness whenever we inflict an ailment. Since this build has a lot of damage but may lack in survivability, getting Mark of Weakness applied on the enemies will help us take a little less damage. Now for the main item that deals the huge damage, the charm we are using is the Beetle Talisman. So whenever you consume an ailment, you will release a shockwave which will be equal to 25% of the damage you dealt from the consume. The reason why it's so strong is that it is able to inflict Ignite. Now do note that you can only inflict Ignite while your weapon tech is active on your dual blades. Otherwise it will not work on any other weapon type upon consuming. For the rings, we are using the Heavenly Reversal to get our timing attacks to consume ailments. For the second ring, we are using the Dust Lord Signet or the Eye of the Dragon. We need the ability to inflict ailments from our weapon techniques. Use the Eye of the Dragon if you feel you are dying more. For the Lifestone, we will be keeping it to the Archon's tier. For the banner, we are going to be using the Plague Pennant to get bonus ailment power and damage per ailment. Now let's take a look at the Augments. Since the downfall of this build is the slow weapon tech charge speed, we first get Paradise to get bonus weapon tech charge whenever we land a critical hit. Then we have Spark to get more weapon tech charge whenever we hit a weak point. Then we have Twilight Bloom to get really high weapon tech damage. Now for the important augments. Kindled Core, 100% of your fire damage and fire resistance will boost your ignite power. And for the last might augment, we are using the Solar Bliss to increase our ignite power even further. For the two vitality augments, we are using Star Waves. This will increase our shock duration greatly. Then Astral Radiance to increase our shock power greatly. For the two spirit augments, we are using Scourge to get our shield back as fast as we can. Then for our last augment, we have Sunburst. This is the augment that will be keeping us alive most of the time. Make sure on all your items you get ailment power or ailment duration, and with some being fire damage. Here is a look at the skill tree. Don't forget to get your timing attacks and at least level 3 on your shield throws to get explosive waves. Go into health recovery as it will boost the power of your Sunburst augment. Here is a look at the essential powers and the stat sheet. That is mostly it for the build guys. It is able to do crazy amount of damage, but the survivability may not be the best. so do play it safe when you enter the towers or Lightbringer. I'm still not a fan of consume builds because they do feel rather tedious to use since you have to use timing attacks, which I'm not really keen to use. But I do know some people really like to see big damage numbers. You may also be wondering why we are increasing both shock power and ignite power. That is because your dual blades will be able to inflict shock during its weapon techniques, and the shock waves that you have released from your charm will be inflicting ignite, since the dual blades are special when you have your northern techniques activated. Using your timing attacks while your weapon technique is active will inflict shock and consume it straight away. And since your timing attack has multiple hits, you will be able to inflict shock, consume shock to inflict ignite, then consume the ignite and inflict shock, and then consume both shock and ignite. It may be difficult to understand, but you will get the idea. This is why we get the really high damage numbers, cause of two really strong ailments being inflicted and consumed simultaneously. Also, you will only be able to see those huge numbers on Kurgani. You can only do that once he spawns the rock on his head. One thing to note is the higher the level of the boss, the better your damage numbers will be. That is all dependent on the final ailment tick that Kurgani can take. The higher the ailment tick, the larger your damage numbers will be. Try and get Kurgani to spawn on floor 27 or 30 to get the max damage values. I tried multiple times to get him to spawn on those floors, but it didn't actually happen. And when he did spawn on those floors, I either killed him too quickly or he never spawned the rock on his head. Hope you guys enjoyed the build. If you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button as I would greatly appreciate it. If you would like to see more cool Godfall builds, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Maybe I might take this build into towers and get boons and see what bigger numbers I can hit then. Comment down below what you all think of this build. Have you guys hit any higher numbers than what I've shown? I would really like to know. I will catch you all next time.